Okay, so we have now officially cleared every single bike in challenge mode at Honda. And now, I think because we only have 3 bikes left to collect over at Kawasaki, that might as well be where we head next. So somewhere in here are 5 Honda racing bikes. I don't know where they are per se, but they're somewhere in here. Oh, I think I just found them. Yeah, there they are. Okay, anyway. Hopefully that more or less gets 1 or 2 things out of the way. And now, we will move on to... Excuse me. And now we will move on to Kawasaki. For these final 3 bikes. As we have got the Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R, the ZRX 1200R, and last but not least, the Kawasaki Ninja ZX10R. And I think at some point we also get the ZX12R before too long. But anyway, let's get on with our first challenge on the Kawasaki, and that takes place at Suzuka Circuit. Now, basically, just go and watch me pass my 2 opponents in about less than a minute, since that's how long I reckon this is going to take. And once again, we've got the Suzuki GSX-R 600 and the Yamaha YZF R6. Let's get this challenge out of the way as quickly as possible. How did I manage to survive that? I had to be very lucky there to pull that off, but I was so glad I managed to save it. And now I just have to overtake my opponent, if I can catch up to him in about a few seconds or so. Okay, it might take a little bit longer than a minute. And still haven't found my way through, but this time I think I have him. And off the corner, and there we go. In a minute and 15 seconds, I get the Kawasaki Ninja ZX6. Okay, so that's our first bike won, and now let's go and get our other 2 bikes. I would imagine the time trial lap is more or less going to be the same as the one I did before for the other Kawasaki Ninja. But anyway, putting on my racing number as I so often do. And now we move on to our next event. Well, our next bike. So now we've got the ZRX 1200R, and wouldn't you know it, we are back at Fuji Speedway once again. I honestly find it amazing to think that they actually had the 90s iteration of Fuji Speedway in video games back then for longer than after they heavily remodified the track. Anyway, and it's all Kawasaki's in this one, as we've got another ZRX 1200 and a Zephyr 1100. as our competition here at Fuji. Still, I find it amazing to think that Polyphony, even 2 years after the old guys of Fuji Speedway was technically shut down and revamped for the modern configuration that we know it for having today, I still find it amazing to think that Polyphony actually did have the licensing to keep a hold of this old circuit, even 2 years after it closed down, and yet they were able to move it over to this game as well as Gran Turismo 4. Although Gran Turismo 4 technically has both the 2005 revamped iteration as well as the 90s iteration. But there we go. 2 bikes down, and now we just have 1 to go. So, 1 bike to go at Kawasaki, and as you would have guessed, it is another Kawasaki Ninja. Because why the hell not? So 2 bikes down, and we still have another bike to go. And I can certainly say for sure that I have made a shit ton of progress here today. But either way, there we go. 2 racing bikes down, and we still have 1 to go. The ZX-10R. And like with what we did with our superbike Honda, we once again have to set a lap around Valencia in less than 1:44. I think that should be pretty easy to do in my opinion, once I get used to the bike. But either way, I kind of figured the first 2 challenges were going to go by relatively quickly. I also know the entry speed for turn 1 is technically 173, and I'm going to restart right before I fail and fall off. Okay. That first attempt didn't count, just to be perfectly clear. There was no evidence to suggest my first attempt counted. Just to be clear, the first attempt did not officially count. Contrary to what the video footage may say, it was an unofficial attempt. Because I did not get through turn 2. And I was definitely loose with the bike through there, but I did manage to survive at least. And on the brakes early, as my bike is moving around a bit. I think I was probably slipping just a little bit there, but able to at least keep myself in position to save the run. I can definitely say I'm sliding around a bit on this bike a bit more compared to what I was doing with the Honda. I know that for sure. probably spent a little bit too much time there coasting, but I think I can still make it to the end. And that's precisely what I do. And I go a tenth faster than what I did on the Honda. But there we go. That's now all of the Kawasaki's acquired from challenge mode. The Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R is now ours. And as you might have guessed, I of course am now going to save a replay because we only had 3 bikes to collect from Kawasaki. Okay, that's good. So we've now got 2 manufacturers in challenge mode now done. So let's now go and collect our bike. And as to what I do after that, well, I'll think about it. Because I've been at this now for 4 hours. And I think up to this point, I'm not sure if whether I should do one more or if I should just call it quits and leave it another day. I mean, I have done 2 manufacturers now and acquired all their bikes, but I feel like there's still more for me to do. So I might consider doing Suzuki tonight and then I'll call it after that, because I have been at this now for a good while. So we gained, I think that was, 4 bikes we gained? If I can find them in here somewhere. Yeah, here they are. Well, 3 bikes, I should say. Okay, anyway, there we go. And we are now 38% complete with the game, as we are now up to 167 on the bikes overall. And next time we will be finishing off Suzuki, coming in the next episode of Tourist Trophy.